Grant, this is not new, the UNC to, at least out of the conference rumors. It's been reported on for the last couple of years and the amount of money legally they've spent investigating it. But of course, Inside Carolina has a report yesterday. How real do you feel these things are as they move through the next 5 years of their existence in the ACC about them genuinely wanting to leave the league?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. And also, the reason why I had to put the pronunciation right there is because I just moved to North Carolina this week. And of course, I lived in Louisiana, so I want to make sure everyone got my last name right because, it's a very hard last name to pronounce. But yeah, guys, this is a real thing. Inside Carolina is a very, very credible source. They've been so for a very long time. And the fact that they came out with this report, this is very credible, right? And this is nothing that's going to be, obviously it's not set in stone. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit ways away because it's not going to happen to around 2030 when the price down goes to 75 million flat. So that's when you might see a little bit of changes, of course. This is in response to Clemson and Florida State with their lawsuits and everything. And we know for a fact that North Carolina doesn't want to be left out. North Carolina has a great athletic tradition. Of course, we all know about their basketball program. Their baseball program has been one of the best in the country for the last 20 years. And they're trying to take football seriously. I mean, when you hire a guy like Bill Belichick, you're trying to make people believe that you're taking football seriously. We also know that the president of UNC, he helped with the settlements with Florida State and Clemson. And really, I think maybe, there might be a deal where Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina leave together. And there could be one other team. But once again, is the great unknown in college sports. We don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen. But there might be some seismic change in the next 5 years when it comes to the ACC. But this is a very important year for the ACC if they want to prevent that from happening.
Grant, like you said, man, a lot of it is unknown right now. But the thing about the report was specifically mentioned in the SEC. Do you think that's just like the kind of tunnel vision, or do you think that the Big Ten's like, hey, that could work too, and that's something we're exploring? Or is it kind of like, hey, we're locked in on this league. This is where we would like to be.
Yeah, and I think you can't leave the Big Ten out. But what from the report says is that the UNC is looking for to join the SEC. There's a lot more. It's just more geography. What's the word I'm looking at? Geography. It doesn't matter. It's closer. It's closer to North Carolina, right? You got South Carolina. No, South Carolina and North Carolina played each other for quite some time, right? They played against each other for I think a few times in the last 10 years. Also, Columbia, South Carolina, and Chapel Hill are not that very far from each other. And of course, you got Tennessee. That's a border state. I mean, it's just a much better financially to join the SEC than it is the Big Ten because of the travel. If you join the Big Ten, there's going to be a lot of issues with travel, right? Because you also have to think about this too. Oregon, you got Oregon and Washington, USC, and UCLA in the West Coast. It's a lot more travel for UNC to join the Big Ten than the SEC. I just think it just makes more sense. And I think this is where UNC is thinking the same thing. It just makes more sense to join the SEC. That's where the most money is. And on top of that, it's just North Carolina's in the South. You're in the Southeastern Conference. That's the South. I just think it makes more sense for UNC financial wise, and then also commonality wise to join the SEC.
What if this Bill Belichick thing blows up in their face? Maybe it blows up in their face, doesn't get off the ground as high as they want it to go. How much do you think that affects their attractiveness as a football program?
Yeah, and of course, UNC's betting big on Belichick. There's a reason why they hired Bill Belichick, and I'm not sure how much of that has to play into them trying to join the SEC, but you better believe that it has something to do with it, right? And I think if UNC wants to be in the SEC, they have to get this Bill Belichick thing running. You don't have to be a playoff contender, but you got to show that you're a competitive team like you were in the Mac Brown years, right? You want to be an 8-win, 9-win team year in and year out for even the SEC to even consider you. You have all the other sports, right? You have basketball, you have baseball, and also North Carolina has won the most national championships out of any traditional ACC school. So it is already a attractive place. Plus, you already know they have the money and they're a great academic institution. However, if you want to get this in rolling, you have to be TCU. And TCU is a great program. That is a marquee matchup. TCU, and a lot of people forget how successful TCU was from the Conference USA to the Mountain West and now in the Big 12. They've won over 220 games since the turn of the century. They've been to multiple New Year's Six Bowl games. They've been to a national championship game. This is a proud program. And if UNC can beat TCU, the rest of the non-conference schedule is pretty easy. So there's a great possibility that the Tar Heels could be 4-0 entering that game against Clemson in Chapel Hill.
Grant, you're covering Bill Belichick coaching college football in North Carolina. Do you feel like you're living a bit of a fever dream at the moment? Is it kind of like, wow, you never know where life might take you, right?
Right. I was covering LSU, so that's a pretty big program in itself.
Sure.
But I was telling this when I was going to the interview. It's one thing to cover Duke and UNC, and that was always a bucket list item for me to go see or cover Duke and UNC. Now I get a chance to do that. But the wildest thing is to cover North Carolina football while they're being head coached by arguably the greatest head coach in NFL history. I mean, I don't think anybody expected Belichick to be the head coach at UNC, but here we are. And I think he has a great chance to do some special things at North Carolina. I don't know if he's going to win the national championship, but I think he can make North Carolina competitive enough. And also, I think, if he shows he can win at North Carolina become a very attractive place. And also, they're doing a lot of great stuff with NAL and the revenue sharing. Of course, they're going to have a new AD, Steve Newmark, next year. Bubba Cunningham will be stepping down, but Steve Newmark is somebody who has worked in NASCAR, so he's very familiar with a professional sports league. And on top of that, he used to do a lot of stuff as a kind of a sports and entertainment lawyer with the SEC, the Conference USA, and of course the NCAA. So he's very familiar with the landscape of how college athletics work, but then also the professional sports aspect that we're starting to see in college sports right now.
Grant, what do you get to feel around just the on the field? So I know that you haven't seen much yet. I mean, you just got up there, but the feel about getting a quarterback from South Alabama is going to come in and I mean probably be fine. But it's still a pretty much a whole new team. It's a whole new coaching staff. There's not a lot of returners. And I don't think they really wanted that many people back because they weren't very good. Of year one under Belichick, do the expectations have to be maybe in the middle of the road for fans?
Yeah, I think so. And I think a lot of fans are thinking that. But the fans are very excited, right? They got expectations. I mean, UNC actually sold out all of the tickets, not just for season tickets, but for tickets as a whole. So everyone down here in Chapel Hill is very excited about this football program. But I think a lot of people expect them to be, a 6, 7, 8 win team. Just given who they have coming back, we don't really know who they're going to bring out for the offensive skill positions. That's kind of up in the air. Gio Lopez, is one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the country. Not only can he run, but he's also very effective in his deep ball. And actually, if you look at his PFF grades, he has a 91 passing grade when it comes to throws over 20 yards or more, which is actually the highest PFF grade he has. He's a very efficient quarterback. He's a very smart quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over, which is what Bill Belichick likes. He likes people that don't really make mistakes. And when they do make mistakes, they have the ability to learn from it. And that's what Gio Lopez can do for this offense. I think this offense will have to rely a lot on Gio Lopez. But on the defensive side of the ball, I think that's where they're going to be. I think they're going to be a much better defensive team. Even though they have a lot of new defensive starters, a lot of them have played a lot of football. Most of them have played over 3 or 4 years of college football. You have a very strong defensive backfield. Actually, or a lot of the returners coming back is actually in the defensive backfield. And Steve Belichick has shown that he can be a strong defensive coordinator. Of course, he was a strong defensive coordinator when he was calling plays for his dad in New England, but he proved that he can still be a successful defensive play caller even without his dad, because at Washington last year, the Huskies were actually one of the worst defenses the year they went to the national championship, but the next year they were 28th in total defense, and they were the second best defense against the pass. And I think you're going to see that and see a huge shift on the defensive side of the ball in North Carolina, which is something they really haven't been used to. A lot, defenses in North Carolina, they've been awful. I was actually going through the raid because I'm like, oh my God, they've been bad. But I think this year is the first time where I think a lot of North Carolina fans should feel that this defense will improve and will be a lot better.